USC gives more freedom to student media at a second presidential search forum after students expressed their frustration.
The world's strongest storm this year made landfall in Southeast Asia and caused massive chaos.
The Emmys are happening tonight, and some of USC students will be giving them a hand.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
And please, please, read the mission statement, and I wish you the best of luck in selecting the right person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
USC held another forum in its search for president. Good evening, I'm Trevor Sahaki.
And I'm Nikki Walker. It was the university's second public forum, and our reporter Angel Viscari has more on how it went. Angel?
Thanks, Trevor and Nikki. Today, the USC Presidential Search Committee held a public forum on the health sciences campus. The meeting allowed many members of the USC community the opportunity to openly voice their suggestions on what characteristics the next USC president in office should have. The listening session was run open mic style, and people at the forum addressed a panel of trustees, including current interim president Wanda Austin.
And that's really what I'm looking for in a president, is someone who can get everyone who's brilliant in a room and create something amazing.
We're looking for a president who can acknowledge that, who can recognize our voice, our importance to the USC environment, and are able to award us the proper connections and communication.
As members of the Trojan community continue to offer their thoughts, topics such as inclusiveness, campus culture, fundraising, and more came up in the discussion. Alumni and faculty members made up the majority of the participants in today's forum.
So I am thankful that there is an opportunity for the community members to have a voice and to be listened to, and because they provided that platform, I did take advantage of it to come and speak up.
The Presidential Search Committee was under fire after media outlets were not allowed to cover last week's public forum at Town and Gown. Today, USC trustee Rick Caruso apologized for the policy, calling it a mistake. He says transparency is the main goal in the selection process.
We're here to listen, and so I think part of the transparency is for us to allow people and give people the permission and a comfortable place so people can be honest, voice their opinions, know that their opinions are heard, they're welcomed.
The Presidential Search Committee will hold its final public listening session on September 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Town and Gown here on the USC campus. Trevor and Nikki, back to you.
Thanks, Angel. Provost Michael Quick announced to the USC community that a USC student is under investigation. The announcement came after a data scientist and activist accused engineering researcher Robert L. Walker of being a white supremacist. In a tweet, Emily Gorsensky said, "The user N, who shares photos of lynchings, who targeted me, who was in a planning chat rooms for the Charlottesville violence, was in a chat room with Weave, is a seismology researcher at the University of Southern California named Robert L. Walker." According to a USC alum who works at the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, Walker was suspended from his previous college after he was found to possess multiple weapons and 1,000 rounds of ammunition. Razan Naklawi has claimed to be tracking Walker's online activities after receiving a tip from a trusted source.
I was anonymously tipped, and I was given that information, and I went to the publicly available Discord leaks on the Unicorn Riot website, and I cross-referenced the information that I had been given with the publicly available leaks. I'm very, very sure that this is the same person.
Walker did not respond to requests for comment. Meantime, Provost Quick announced the university is working with the LAPD, the FBI, and the Department of Homeland Security to ensure USC campuses are safe and secure. Some members of the USC community said the university is responding appropriately. Others said it needed a stronger stance against hate speech.
This is a private university. We have a code of conduct. We sign all the paperwork when we come here saying that we will act a certain way, present ourselves in a certain way. So I think that the university has to come out very hard and just say, this is not acceptable, we don't want this on our campus.
There may be isolated incidents on campus where an individual makes us feel slightly threatened or in fear, and the university has always taken it very seriously in their response.
The latest email from the provost called hate speech dehumanizing, degrading, toxic, and vile, but said the investigation could find the comments are constitutionally protected. The university is investigating the claims. We will provide updates as we get them.
Dozens are confirmed dead and hundreds more injured after Typhoon Mangkhut hit the Philippines and southern China. Millions have been evacuated, but there are fears the death toll could be in the hundreds. Residents of South China began evacuating after Hong Kong was devastated by winds up to 140 miles per hour. The typhoon tore roofs off, skyscrapers shattered windows, and flooded streets. Annenberg Media's Jordan Winters is studying in Hong Kong. She told us how she weathered the storm.
We had blue skies all day and very little wind, so we were a little bit skeptical at first because events then changed so quickly. But I really didn't start to experience the typhoon probably until Sunday morning was when I woke up. I had never heard wind howl and seen wind and rain act in the way that it did.
Hundreds of flights were canceled and many places are still without power. The typhoon is expected to be downgraded to a tropical depression by tomorrow. The center of Hurricane Florence has left the Carolinas, but heavy rains and massive floods continue to wreak havoc. The death toll has risen to at least 31, and evacuation orders are still being issued. Emergency teams are carrying out search and rescue missions by air and water, while more than 500,000 homes and businesses are still without power in the Carolinas. Flash flood watches and warnings are in effect to provide more updates on the situation. Florence is expected to bring more rainfall and more flash floods over the next couple of days as it moves northeast towards the Atlantic.
Now turning to news from Washington, Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh is under fire after an allegation he sexually assaulted a fellow student when both were in high school more than 30 years ago.
Our political anchor Albert Chen joins us with the story now.
Thanks, guys. The vote on Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nomination may be delayed following new information about a sexual assault allegation against the nominee. Palo Alto University professor Christine Ford has come forward as the accuser. In a letter she wrote to Senator Dianne Feinstein in July, Ford details the events of 35 years ago. In the letter, she wrote, "Kavanaugh physically pushed me into a bedroom as I was headed for a bathroom up a short stairwell from the living room. They locked the door and played loud music, precluding any successful attempt to yell for help. With Kavanaugh's hand over my mouth, I feared he may inadvertently kill me." Kavanaugh strongly denies the allegations. Senators are divided in their responses. Some are insisting both Kavanaugh and Ford testify, while others are wondering why Feinstein withheld the information.
That's why it's important that there be a very thorough interview and that we see both individuals respond to the allegations.
It is an accusation which the ranking member of the Committee of Jurisdiction has known about for at least 6 weeks. Known about for 6 weeks, yet chose to keep secret until the 11th hour.
Today, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee confirmed that the Supreme Court nominee and his accuser will publicly testify on these allegations next Monday. Back to you, Trevor and Nikki.
Thanks, Albert. Immigrant rights organizations today announced they are suing the federal government. They're trying to find out why there's a growing backlog of people applying for U.S. citizenship.
The one branch of government that has stood up to many of these policies has been the courts. And we, therefore, are now turning to the courts in order to gain a far better transparency and understanding.
I urge everybody, regardless of what the Trump administration is trying to do, to file your application to make sure that you gain your full rights as a citizen in this country.
These groups are hoping that this lawsuit will lead to greater transparency and that it will reduce the time it takes for those wanting to immigrate.
Soon, California doctors will be required to use a drug monitoring program to counteract opioid addiction. Doctors will be able to see a patient's entire drug history. The aim is to prevent patients from hiding their drug use by visiting many doctors. Some pharmacists say they've been using the system for years, but it's not enough to solve the opioid crisis.
When we're talking about deaths, okay, due to opioid overdose, it's not really due to the prescribing practices as much anymore. What happened is everybody overprescribed and doctor shopped and, whatever, people got hooked, and now people are dying because they've turned to heroin or synthetic opioids like fentanyl and carfentanil.
According to the California Department of Health, deaths in California from fentanyl tripled from 2016 to 2017. Over the same period, the drug was the largest contributor to America's 72,000 opioid-related deaths. Just today, in an overwhelming bipartisan vote of 99-1, the Senate passed a collection of bills pushing a nationwide effort to end the opioid crisis.
Well, a new species of aggressive mosquitoes has invaded Southern California and will be giving you tips on how to protect yourself.
The 70th Primetime Emmy Awards will last until 8 p.m. tonight, and there is something more surprising than who the award winners will be.
And questions are arising on whether the name of one USC building should change following Stanford's building name removal plan.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Bro? Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. It was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit SaveTheFood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones. Don't even. And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
The 70th Annual Emmy Awards broke the record for diversity in nominees. The Emmy Awards ceremony is happening right now in downtown LA. You're looking live at the Annenberg Auditorium, where students are watching a live stream of the show. This afternoon, crews were preparing the Microsoft Theater for tonight's big event. There were 36 nominees of color across all categories. That's up from 27 nominees of last year's color. 29 African Americans were nominated across all categories this year, shattering 2017's record of 19. Latino Americans were also well represented with 20 nominees. Yet for Asian Americans, only 3 made the list, including Sandra Oh, who is the first Asian American actress to be nominated in a leading role. Though Sandra Oh is the only Asian American actress nominated this year, her nomination could pave the way for better Asian American representation in the television and cinema.
TV's biggest award show has stars, suspense, and sometimes empty seats. Annenberg Media's Taylor Elliott spoke to some USC students who are helping producers fill those spaces.
Preparations for this year's Emmy Awards are underway at the Microsoft Theater in downtown Los Angeles. And while audiences at home may dream of being there, for some, this can be a reality. Companies hire seat fillers to prevent empty spaces on camera at big shows like the Emmys.
It's a whole kind of industry of Hollywood to be a seat filler. They're more or less extras.
While many seat fillers may see this as their time to shine, they better think twice. Event staff have a strict policy of no talking to or disturbing the celebrities and guests unless spoken to.
That we can't really interact with the talent, not to distract anyone. We don't want to really stand out because it's not about us, it's about the event. So we're basically part of the scenery, we're not part of the scene.
There are several companies in LA that accept applications for seat fillers. Most require you to be over the age of 18 and upload a picture. Some even ask for resumes.
It was really cool to watch all of the shows that were being like filmed before it was coming out, and then it's cool kind of to look back now and like when they did like pans of the audience, like sometimes I can see like 13-year-old me, and it's kind of cool to see that.
The Emmy website says there are only a limited number of seats available for tonight. For Annenberg Media, I'm Taylor Elliott.
Well, Trevor, let's hope it's not too hot tonight on the red carpet for our stars.
Yes, to get that information, let's check in with our weather anchor, Draco Guan, for more.
Hi guys, the weather is just gorgeous tonight for Emmys Award. I don't know if you guys are happy, but right now the current condition is 78 degrees. The celebrities out there in the red carpet is definitely going to be delighted. And let's take a look at tomorrow's in the Big Bear area is 74 and the Riverside is 88 degrees. Go up to the north and the Semi Valley is 84 and Malibu in the coast is 74 degrees. Let's go back to the downtown area, back to our USC is 82 degrees and LA is 75 degrees. And now let's look at the 5 days forecast. And from Tuesday to Thursday, it's going to be partly cloudy, but don't worry, Friday and Saturday will be sunny. And I know it's kind of hot right now, and mosquitoes are celebrating it. For Southern California, we are battling a new invasive species of mosquitoes, Aedes mosquitoes. The one behind me has a nickname called Asian tiger. They're originally from Asia, and they bite very aggressively compared to our native mosquitoes. Here are some tips on how to avoid the bite. Be sure to use mosquito spray, wipes, and lotion when outside. And get rid of the standing water where they lay eggs. And definitely inspect your property and make sure the window screens are tightened. Because these mosquito bites becomes inflamed quickly and turn into big red wells and rashes. So guys, watch out.
Thank you so much. I am very worried about that.
I'm very glad we have those tips now because that is very scary having a new species.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Draco.
Thank you.
Administrators at Stanford University are planning to remove the name of Father Junipero Serra from campus due to the violent legacy of the California mission system against Native Americans. The Von Kleidsmine Center at USC has also come under fire for its namesake. It has been reported that former USC President Rufus Von Kleidsmine led a eugenics organization and was a white supremacist sympathizer.
I actually am very frustrated with the amount of help that administration has been giving to us, especially since we passed this resolution. And it had not only a resolution that passed, but also a petition that got hundreds of signatures, all within a couple of weeks.
Annenberg Media spoke to students to see if they think Von Kleidsmine's name deserves to stay.
They should rename it because I think it's very ironic that USC is a school that but admits the most number of international students in the country.
I think that it's an important part of the university heritage, and I think it should be kept despite all the controversy because he is a historical figure. Despite like many other things, he did a lot of stuff for the school.
Stanford will remove Sarah's name from 2 campus buildings and a pedestrian mall.
USC has introduced a new Office of Professionalism and Ethics, headed by the previous VP of Athletic Compliance, Michael Blanton. Blanton is a USC law alum and has worked at many notable firms previously, such as Hill, Farrer, and Burrill, with 20 years of experience in total. OPE will serve as a centralized office for managing university investigations and complaints from students and faculty. They will also give semi-annual compliant trend reports to USC's general counsel and oversee an anonymous, confidential, compliant hotline. So Keith, there were many happy Texans, but not so many happy Trojans this weekend.
But there were also a lot of happy campers. Well, let's hear from this weekend in Trojan Athletics.
Yeah, guys, USC riding the elevator of sorts this weekend. A couple of up and down performances, including a 4-game win streak by men's water polo up at UC Davis. Meanwhile, USC football floundered in the Lone Star State against the Longhorns. We have the highlights and some updates from USC's second loss of the season. USC women's soccer and senior striker Leah Pruitt pounced all over Long Beach State last Friday, what turned out to be a senior day that Pruitt will never forget. Get your popcorn ready. Annenberg TV Sports is next.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles. What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They might call Texas the Lone Star State, but against USC, the Texas Longhorns football team needed all 22 of their stars to take down the Trojans Saturday night. In typical Alice Cooper fashion, the Trojans pounded the rock early and often. USC running back Stephen Carr took a handoff 23 yards for the first Trojan touchdown. But Vi Malapei followed it up with a score of his own at the end of the first quarter to give USC its only scores of the night. Sadly for USC, Texas would go on to score 34 unanswered points thanks to a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. Starting kicker Chase McGrath tore his ACL on the play and is confirmed out for the rest of the season. Trojan lineman Christian Rector emphasized after the game that the team bond is strong.
Next 24 hours, get this out of our heads and then prepare. I have a lot of respect for those guys on defense, and I'll go to war with them, and I'm really proud of the way they fought tonight, and we'll prepare for next week and the challenge.
In preparation for the Washington State game this Friday, head coach Clay Helton and his team were back at practice today to work out their offensive, defensive, and special teams kinks. Helton mentioned in his post-game interview that it is imperative for his team to excel at all 3 phases of the game.
We just got to execute better, in my opinion, overall, in all 3 phases. We talked about it in there. It's going to be all of us doing it together, coaches, players, as a family, as a brotherhood. And we can't feel sorry for ourselves right now. We got a conference game coming up, and it's a very important one for us. And on a Friday night, so we got to get back home, watch this tape, and be going tomorrow.
The Trojans come back home this week and will battle the undefeated Cougars on Friday night, and what many have claimed is a must-win after 2 straight road losses. While football has lost 2 straight, women's soccer has won 4 in a row, including a big 3-0 victory over Long Beach State last Friday. It was senior day for the women of Troy, and USC senior Leah Pruitt was on fire, scoring 2 of USC's goals in the second half. Freshman phenom Penelope Hawking assisted on both Pruitt's 5th and 6th goals of the year to help USC win its 7th game and remain undefeated.
I thought it was a great senior day because I felt like a lot of love from my teammates, and we were all really excited to play good and play for each other. And so I think we had like a lot of energy. We were playing music before the game, dancing, so it was a lot of fun.
USC sophomore Leah Hyatt also found the back of the net for her first goal of the season. With a 7-0-1 record in Pac-12 play coming up, head coach Kadani McAlpine talked with Annenberg Media after the game about his team's excellent performance and how important second half adjustments can be.
I thought the energy that we played with was much better than last weekend. We started the game with a much better rhythm. We were able to maintain it for longer periods of time. And I think the pressure turned into not giving up corners, not giving up shots. And that's what we want to be about. We created quite a few chances. We probably still should be better in the final third, but I think all in all, it was a really good performance.
The women of Troy will kick off conference play this Saturday at McAllister Field against the 5-2-1 Washington Huskies, a team that hasn't lost a game since August. Women's volleyball, meanwhile, traveled down south to San Diego this weekend and picked up 2 3-0 wins over Louisiana and host San Diego. USC will also host UCLA this Wednesday to kick off Pac-12 play. Our own sports correspondent Sam Scalbania has more about an outside hitter who has been lighting it up. Sam?
Thanks, Keith. Although the football squad struggled in the Lone Star State, other Trojan athletes shined bright over the weekend, including 2 that I'll highlight in a new segment tonight called Sam Stars. Like Keith said, women's volleyball captured a victory on Friday thanks to my first star of the week, sophomore outside hitter Brooke Botkin. Botkin captured her 5th double-double of the year with 18 kills and 12 digs. helping to secure a sweep of the Louisiana in the first meeting ever between the two teams. My second star goes to senior Justin Suh of the USC men's golf team, who shot rounds of 67 and 68 on the weekend after a tough day one at the Fighting Illini Invitational in Olympia Fields, Illinois. Suh finished in a tie for fourth, propelling his team to a second-place finish behind #1 ranked Oklahoma State in the first event of the season. Keith?
Golf looking good. Football, not so good. We'll see this weekend, guys.
Yes, thank you so much, Keith.
Thank you, Keith.
An all-women's comedy show will take place this weekend.
See why they want to prove that women can break a leg in comedy.
One in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
迷惑ボーイ。
ここはなんとかしなくちゃ。
スーパーカインドの交通機関案内。
When you ride on the bus or rail, don't eat popcorn, meat, or kale. Food can smell and it makes a mess. Keep LA Metro clean and fresh. Come along with me, let's go. It's time to ride on the Metro. When eating food causes problems, you know Super Kind will be there to solve them. Come along with me, let's go. It's time to ride on the Metro. When eating food causes problems, you know Super Kind will be there to solve them.
USC women are teaming up with a feminist creative organization to put on a comedy show this weekend. It's called 77 Cents because that's how much a woman makes for every dollar a man earns. The all-female and gender non-binary cast will do improv as well as stand-up and sketch comedy.
Frankly, there are way more guys working in the comedy industry than women. So through this show, I just want to create this community that unites all the female comedians at USC, and where everyone can support each other, and people will have a safe space to practice their art.
The show opens Friday night and runs through Sunday afternoon at the Massman Theater in the Drama Center. For tickets, go to the 77 Events on Facebook.
I have to say, you guys, after watching Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I am all about women in comedy.
Exactly. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think it's going to be super funny, and I think everyone has funny stories to tell.
Huge after laughing at USC football to maybe laugh at some other things.
Too soon.
Who knows?
Too soon. Alrighty, well.
Right.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Trevor Sahaki.
And I'm Nikki Walker. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.